Alright, these are intermediate knots. 4 intermediate knots. I figured I'd play with it a little bit here at work. Sorry if the lighting looks off. It is kind of a goldish tint to the light in the building here. Okay, first one is going to be the Clove Hitch. I love this little green cord. I've used it before in my basic. Give me a little bit more of a tag because I got something I want to add to this. I've used it before in my basic knots. You're going to go across twice, up through the middle underneath both of them. And we'll pull him tight. See if that's got in there. Let's zoom in on that just a little bit. Move around here and get a good shot of it. There it is. So the thing we'll add to this, and this comes from my firefighter training, anytime you tie this bowline and you're going to use it to lift a tool, you want to come over here to the side, tie it with a little bit of a long, make sure I'm getting all this, tie it with a little bit of a long tag end on the knot itself. And what you want to do is you want to take that tag end of the extra, wrap it around again, and tie off what we call in the fire service a safety. You can either use a single or a double half hitch, or in proper scout fashion, you put a square knot on it. And that is the Clove Hitch. Okay, the next knot, I'm going to go ahead and use my cute little green cord. Next knot is going to be the slip knot. And I'm just going to use my rain jacket here. Do this a little bit big for you. Okay, anyway, what we're going to do is I'll use the big rope, you can see it better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie my slip knot. And basically it's just a half hitch that goes over your, this is the long piece that it's going to slide up and down on. Make sure tell you what, I'm going to raise you up here just a little bit, maybe you can see a little better. I'm just going to take a carabiner, put it inside the jacket, we'll slip the slip knot over it, and cinch it down, and that wouldn't be going anywhere. You can use that on a tarp, you can use it on a blanket, you can use it for many other reasons. So that's number 2, not in order, but that's number 2 of the 5 intermediate knots. Okay, the next knot is going to be the jam knot. And I'm going to call this the redneck jam knot because I'm not Canadian. And as was mentioned, some cordage doesn't work well with that. Just so happens that this cordage is not any good for that, so I'm going to use my handy dandy nylon rope here. And again, what I'm going to compress is going to be my rain jacket. So I tie a knot in the end, and this particular rope already has a knot in the end of it. I'll just use it. What you're going to do is you come back around the long portion of your rope, And you're just going to leave a little section on the end, cross it over, and you're going to tie a half hitch. That's all this knot is. It's a half hitch with a stop knot. That's all it is. So to use it to compress something, you're going to get this folded up in such a manner it really needs to be compressed. There we go. You slip it around what you're doing, what you need to compress. Crank down on it. And I don't know if it can be seen on the video, but as you're cranking down, the knot itself will slide up on itself till it hits that knot that you tied for a stop knot. And just crank down on this thing till you're satisfied with it. And there you have it. Canadian jam, as you call it, or redneck jam, as I'll call it. Okay, for the final knot. I'll see if I can do this. I hadn't tried it yet on the... I'll see if I can do it with this. This is... Let's say this is a full-size piece of rope. This end going back down towards your rescuers. Alright, to tie the bowline, we're going to cross this over and make a little loop in it. Thusly. And let's see, can you see that loop? Alright. This end here would be longer, but it would go around your body. Matter of fact, I'll pull some slack. This end would go around your body or tree or whatever you're trying to do. Come back up. You're going to go up through the loop, around the piece that's headed out towards being pulled on, your boat or your whoever's trying to pull you out of the hole or whatever. But around the main beam again and back through the hole. And then you just pull it tight. And it will not cinch down. It's not going to be like a hangman's noose where it cinches down on you. I'll try it again with a little bit bigger piece. Take your rope. This end over here goes to the tree or whatever. You can grab it in the middle, and if you're facing away from the rope, if you're facing that direction, you can grab this piece of rope and you want to, with your left hand, and you want to flip it towards the tree or towards whoever's pulling you out. Just grab it in the middle and hang on to it with 2 or 3 fingers and flip it forward. And you're going to make this loop. Okay, the loop's going to look like that. It's going to come down from whatever you're tying off to, make a loop and cross over the top. This end of it is going to go, if you're being pulled out or if you're tying off to a tree, it'll go around your body or around the tree or whatever you want to hook to, up through the hole, around the main part, back down through the loop again. And you can pull it tight. And again, you have a loop that will not uncinch itself. Okay, since I have a short piece of rope, it's not very big at all, maybe 3 feet long, and it's not a full-size rope either. I'm going to pretend that I'm putting this thing all the way around my body and still having enough slack out there to actually do something with it, since I have extra girth. Anyway, this is the bowline one-handed method. I'm going to hook it back there, so okay, this is going around my body from that point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this end in my hand. This part's going up to the tree. This end's in my hand. I'm going to cross over and loop underneath. You use your thumb. You can use your thumb to do this. You just want to loop underneath the rope over here, so that you have a loop formed. You still got that piece going out forward. I don't know if you can see that properly. I'll get it up against my... It's going to look like this at this point. Your short end's going to be coming through a loop just like when you tied it on your hand. Manipulate it around the rope with the part going to the tie off, and pull it back through the same loop and cinch it down. And again, you've got a non-slipping loop tied in the end of it. It's good for tying things off like boats, canoes. You can actually use that in some cases for a ridge line where you're anchored on the anchor end. Very good knot. I encourage everybody, like I said at the very beginning, I tied a clove hitch using my firefighter method, where you actually put another loop on the other end and tie off a safety to it, just to make sure that free end doesn't slip. You know, if you were up in a tree or up on the side of a hill and you're pulling an axe up that your partner, your wife, somebody else, your child has tied on with this, you don't want them standing below watching it go up and all of a sudden your clove hitch slip loose. That's why firefighters use that. And it's used for Halligan tools and axes and chainsaws and all different manner of things that we have to pull up on top of a roof. Anyway, I encourage everybody to go further into your knots. There are some really great knots that need to be used to get the best out of your cordage in the woods. For instance, if you're going to tie this end of your rope to the edge of your tarp, and this end of your rope is going to be tied to a stake on the ground, and here in a little while something's happened and you've got this looseness in here. Well, in that case, you come to the middle of your rope, pull a couple of loops in it like this. You're going to look like this on either end. You cross over to this side, cross over to this side, and pull a little loop through there, pull a little loop through there. And you wind up with that. It's called a sheep shank. It is the way you shorten a piece of cordage. That's the way you tie a knot in the middle to shorten a piece of cordage. You can use slip knots and adjustable knots on either end of your cord, but if you want to adjust a cord that's gone slack, that you're not trying to really take all the slack out of it permanently, you're just, you're just shoring it up a little bit, tightening it up. Sheep shank is another good one. Anyway, bonus knot, by the way. Anyway, that's my 4 knots for intermediate. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Sorry I have to do it at work. That's all I do. I work and go home and work and go home. So y'all have a good night, and we'll see you next video.